In this video, we're going to look at an example to use a chart to solve word problems. Upon emptying the pockets, we found equal number of quarters and pennies that total $1.30 in value. How many of each coin do we have? So first of all, we make a chart. So we put the first column, we put items. Well, usually when we use a chart to solve a word problem, it's because we have more than one unknown. The problem is more difficult than the problems with one unknown. So we have usually two rows here under items. So in this case, we have two unknowns. We don't are the number of quarters. So let's write down quarters and number of pennies. We put it pennies. And next, we're gonna first write down the value of each. Value of each, or you can put unit value. And we know the value of each quarter is 25 cents. And the value of each penny is 1 cent. And next, we're going to write down how many we have. How many quarters? And as we are reading the question, we know that it's not given, it's unknown. The only thing we know about the number of quarters and pennies is that they have equal amount, which means if we have X quarters, then we have X pennies. Because we're going to use algebra to set up an equation to solve the problem, so we're going to use a variable X. And next, we're going to write down, since we know the value of each quarter and how many quarters we have, and we can find out the value of the items, the value of items here. So we have the value of items equals the value of each one times how many we have. So if we have 25, we have X quarters, which means we have X 25s. So we multiply 25 and X. So it's pretty much the last column comes from multiplying the second column and the third column. So the same thing for the last one. We multiply the second column 1 and the third column X. We get 1 times X, which is 1X. Now if we add, next we add these two. So we get 25X plus 1X. That is, because we know 25X, that is the total value of quarters, of all the quarters, not just the one quarter. It's the value of quarters, all the quarters we have. And 1X, that's the value of all the pennies we have. And again, it's not just one penny. And so adding them together, that would be the value of quarters and pennies. The problem tells us the quarters and the pennies that total $1.30. And notice that 25 here in the equation means 25 cents. And one cent is also in cent. So $1.30, that they don't have the matching unit. So first thing we want to do is to convert $1.30 into how many cents? As we know, $1 is equal to 100 cents. So 100 cents plus 30 cents, altogether we have 130 cents. And so let's put it on the right side. And so that is the total of value of quarters and the value of pennies. So this is the equation we got, and now we can solve the equation. So the steps we're doing, first we fill in the chart. Fill in the chart. The second step, we set up equation. So step 2, set up an equation. Step 3, we solve the equation. So the third step we're going to do is to solve for x. And from what we learned before, we want to combine like terms. 25 plus 1, that's 26x equals 130. And now we can get this x by itself. We divide both sides by 26 because the operation between 26 and x is multiplication. So we do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. And 26 divided by 26, that gives us 1x. 1x is just equal to x. And right hand side, we can do 130 divided by 26. 26 goes into 1 0 times. 26 goes into 13 0 times. 26 goes into 130 5 times. Because when we do 26 times 5, so we can do it over here, 26 times 5, that equals 5 times 6, that's 30. Put a little 3 here, and 2 times 5, it's 10. 10 plus 3, that's 130. So when we multiply here, 6 times 5, that's 30. Little 3, 2 times 5, and that is 10. 10 plus 3, that's 13. And 130 minus 130, that's 0. So the answer is 0, 0, 5, but these zeros don't make a difference to number 5. So the answer will just be 5. And then we go back to the problem and write down the answer for 5. So that tells us we have 5 quarters and 5 pennies. So 5 quarters here and 5 pennies here. And we can double check our answer. 5 quarters is 25 times 5, that's 125 cents. And then plus 5 pennies, 125 plus 5, that's 130 cents. That's exactly correct.